Hey guys, welcome to my next draft picks video. We're still in Adventures of the Forgotten Realms. This set is quickly coming to an end in terms of its time in the sunlight these past few months. I really like this set, even though other folks don't really like it. I do, and so we're opening up a pack and seeing what cards we would pick if this was a draft. Let's switch it over to the overhead view. Here we are, the one pack, and let's open it up just like we were opening it up in a draft. So let's see what we get. Oh, we got another Minimus Containment. We got that a couple days ago. We have a Circle of the Moon Druid, Herald of Hadar, Dueling Rapier, Soulnice Spy. You come to the Knoll camp, Hobgoblin Captain, Baleful Beholder, Great Axe, Divine Smite, Plate Armor, Faraday, Meteor Storm, oh my gosh, Rangers class, and tokens. So, whoo boy, what are we going to pick here? I feel like this pack is loaded with some good things. And, okay, so let's just figure this out. Let's clear the top row so that we can start putting these cards in the order I'd pick them in. For sure, number one, I would pick... Ooh, this is tough. Okay, I'm going to pick Meteor Storm for sure. Meteor Storm is going to be the first card picked 100%. Basically, it says, okay, so it says deals 8 damage divided as you choose among X targets. So X can be 1, could deal 8 damage, so that's like, 4. Okay, so 4 total mana, but like 1 and 3 red to deal that 8 damage. Not that great of a value right there. But if you have 5 mana, and of course 3 of them have to be red, so it's pretty pricey in terms of you need red to get this thing off. You can deal 8 damage to 2 targets, so like 4 and 4. Or even like 7 and 1, if they've got something really big, this thing can get rid of it. It is a really, really sweet removal kind of a card. You can make X3 and then just start dividing damage amongst a lot of creatures and things. It's so cool. You can get rid of a lot of things with this. I've gotten hit by Meteor Storm where I was like, I had control of the board. I had more creatures. Boom, Meteor Storm happens, and they win. So that's a thing. That's certainly a thing that happens. So Meteor Storm, great card. Definitely first pick. Next would be Ranger class. This is another great card. Ranger class is awesome. So right when it hits the battlefield, you get a 2/2 green wolf creature token right off the bat. So it's like it costs you 2 to put down, and you get that right away. That is sweet. You pay 2 for 2, and then has a lot of upside after that. For level 2, you just have to pay 1 and a green, and whenever you attack, you get +1/+1 counters on your creatures. You start putting them on, not all your creatures, but on a creature that's attacking. So you keep attacking every turn, you're going to get lots of +1/+1s. And the last one is, for 3 and a green, you can look at the top card of your library at any time. You can cast cards from the top of your library. What? This card is tremendous. It is such a great card. Ranger class is awesome. That would usually be like a first pick, and then you're right. I'd be right in green. I'd be in green the whole time, picking up green cards, but Meteor Storm, wow. So Ranger class is it. All right. Third pick. This is where it gets a little bit harder. Quite a bit harder, actually, for me. I still think... Ooh, it's a real big toss-up depending on what I want to do. I'm going to pick Hobgoblin Captain just because Hobgoblin Captain is in red. It's a 3/1. Has pack tactics. Anyone who's played AFR for any amount of time knows that Hobgoblin Captain, with pack tactics activated, he is a very scary threat. 3/1 with first strike. All for just 2 mana. This guy can be fearsome in battle, very hard to get rid of with pack tactics activated, not hard to get that activated either. So I like Hobgoblin Captain as the third pick. Then, okay, this is a crazy one. I think we would go Plate Armor next. Plate Armor, even though it's an equipment, and usually equipment, you wouldn't pick equipment too highly that often. But this one is great. It gives creatures +3/+3 and Ward 1. It just makes any creature beefy and tough. And I love equipment because it's not like an enchantment. It actually sticks around. Even the creature dies, you put on something else. The equip cost is 3. And it costs 1 less to activate for each other equipment you already control. So Plate Armor is very friendly with other pieces of equipment, and it just can help you out in so many ways. I've played against Plate Armor. It is a pain to have to play against a creature with Plate Armor on. You're constantly worrying about it, trying to get rid of it. Okay, pick number 5. Maybe a little bit controversial, but I like Faraday. Faraday, whenever you roll 1 or more dice, Faraday, Devil's Chosen, gains Flying and Menace until end of the turn. If any of those results was 10 or higher, draw a card. So this is definitely your dice rolling card. I've come into like dice rolling a lot more as this format has kind of come to an end. I think other people have liked dice rolling less and less. But I found that dice rolling can bring you quite some good value, and Faraday is one of the cards that really does help with that. Not help with dice rolling, but helps give you value, because Faraday is a 3/3, which is not bad in this format. If you get Faraday Flying, helping you draw a card, those are all good things. The next pick here, I think I'd pick the Minimus Containment. There's a card I like better than Minimus Containment, but I'll talk about that as my next pick. Minimus Containment, we talked about already, but it's a white removal spell. The only negative with Minimus Containment is that it gives your opponent a treasure that they can use to ramp and get better things out. But if you really need removal, and if it's especially later on in the game, you can just remove something that's really annoying or big even, I think Minimus Containment is good late in the game. You kind of want to use it less early in the game, because later on, mana is not as important. Those early turns of mana are huge. Okay, coming up next is Baleful Beholder. I actually see Baleful Beholder coming up last quite often, but I love the Baleful Beholder. I feel like it's like one of the few big black cards that you can kind of easily get. It's a 6/5. I don't particularly like the 5, but when it enters the battlefield, you can make your opponent sacrifice an enchantment, and usually that's going to be like a class card, but it could be something else too, like Charm Sleep or something like that. That's amazing. Or you can give your creatures Menace, which can also be extremely useful. So timing the playing of this card is kind of key. And so a lot of times I'll be holding the Baleful Beholder until I think it's a really good time to play it, and just drop it down like a bomb. It's not a bomb, but it's like it does things that can really affect the board in meaningful ways. After that, I think I would take Soulnice Spy. I really like Soulnice Spy as a blue card. Whenever Soulnice Spy deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Oh my goodness. Anything that says draw a card, I immediately already like. And so Soulnice Spy, and can damage for 3. So you put this with, say, Thieves' Tools. Thieves' Tools lets Soulnice Spy get in there without being blocked. And bam, you have 3 damage, which is the max that Thieves' Tools allows, and you get to draw a card. I love it. And it kind of works really good with that small creature black-blue thing going on. Imagine putting a Reaper's Talisman on it would be even better. Things like that are really neat. It is a bit slow in the format. You kind of have to have more help with it. But those are things I like. And I feel like they can work. It just doesn't work as easily as like black, red, which everything works all the time for that color pair. My next pick would be the Herald of Hadar. Kind of a mid-range, beefy character. 4/4. You can make your opponent lose life, and in good instances can gain you life and even a treasure if you really get that 20, which is, of course, really difficult to do. But 4/4 for 4 and a black. it's really nice. I mean, towards the end of the game, too, you know, you can ping your opponent for 2, and sometimes that can just straight out win you the game at the very end, because they can't do anything about it. Yeah, Circle of Death. That's the ability. I mean, it does cost 5 and a black, so it's expensive, but, you know, if you do have extra mana at the end of the game, it's a great way to put it. And 4/4 is going to be very strong against many of the creatures in this set. After that, I think I'd pick Circle of the Moon Druid. Circle of the Moon Druid is also pretty cool. It's 2 and a green. It's a 2/4 when it's defending, and it's a 4/2 when it's attacking. So you kind of get best of both worlds. The only thing is when it is a 4/2, a lot of times your opponent will just trade with it. So you're not getting that 4 damage in. But let's say they don't have somebody to protect them, then you're going to get that 4 damage in, and that's just really good, right? 4 damage. That's like a fifth of the life total. So I like Circle of the Moon Druid. It only costs 2 and a green, so it's not super expensive either. I think it's a decent card. Not like great, but decent. I think after that I would pick You Come to the Knoll Camp. Very useful combat trick. And it's also useful pre-combat. So up to 2 target creatures can't block this turn. I mean, oftentimes, you know, unless they have like a whole string of, you know, creatures against you, many times you're just going to have like 1 or 2 creatures on their side, 1 or 2 creatures on your side. Boom. You clear them out and you can come in and attack. That's really great. Fend them off. Target creature gets +3/+1 until end of turn. A lot of opponents won't see that coming on that side, and then you can actually get your creature to stay alive or win or do extra damage. I like that quite a bit. Next is the Dueling Rapier. The Dueling Rapier is great. It's just cost 1. It flashes in. It gives your creatures +2/+0. So, you know, it can... I don't know if it'll win you the battle. I mean, it'll win you the battle, but, I mean, oftentimes your creatures will still trade. You know, not adding any toughness kind of sucks kind of about that, but at least with Dueling Rapier, you can surprise people with it, and if they think they're going to win the battle, maybe you can end up just trading instead. The only problem with it is with the equip cost of 4. If it's not flashed in, it costs 4 to equip, which is very expensive for just getting +2/+0 on a creature. I guess we'll pick Divine Smite next. It's 1 and a white. Target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls phases out. So it has to be the opponent. If that permanent is black, exile it. So it's good to exile a black card, but when are you going to be playing black? You know, it can happen. There's like a cycle of cards like this that are like hating on certain colors. In this case, white's hating on black. But I think this is the weakest of all of those types of cards. I don't see this card being played that often. It's because especially it just phases something out. That's not that great. It can help you a little bit, but I don't think it's worth a slot in the deck. Now it's definitely worth a slot in the deck if you're playing against a black player, but you don't know. So maybe it's a sideboard card at the best. Lastly, we have the Great Axe. It only costs 1 to get onto the table, but the equip cost is 5, which is ridiculous. It's super high. Equipped creature gets +4, which is nice, but again, since there's no toughness bump, you know, if it's on like a 4, if it becomes, you know, a 5/1 or a 5/2, it, you know, a lot of times the opponent will just happily trade like a 2/2, 2/1 for it, and then, you know, you have to equip it again to something else. I think I could see this if you somehow got it onto a flyer and it was flying around and they had no way to stop it, then, you know, it's going to do good for you. But for most of the time, I feel like the Great Axe is not a good investment. So overall, you know, this pack was really, really nice. I mean, the top end of this pack was great. Meteor Storm, Ranger Class, Hobgoblin Captain, Plate Armor, Faraday, Minimus Containment, Baleful Beholder, Soulnice Spy. Up till about there, maybe even the Herald of Hadar, like, I'd be happy to take those, any of those cards in a deck that I was building. Would you pick this order, or would you choose a different order? I'd love to know. Let me know what you think, what you would do with this draft picks selection. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.